Welcome back, everybody. This is another amazing show. This is Real Estate Uncensored. We are going to go back in time a little bit and have a lot of fun. We're also going to talk about the future and what affects your net worth. That's a real good question. Mr. Nick Sakis is with me. Hello, you sexy piece of man meat. How are you?
I like that. Sexy piece of man meat. So today's all about self-worth. And I got to tell you, that made me feel really good.
Well, you are a sexy man. End of story. And you came up with the title today, and I really like the commentary that we're going to be having today, because we're going to be talking about how does your income affect your it's effect your self worth. What does that mean? How do you kind of put that into a compilation in your life in regards to everything you got going on? Mr. Gene Volpe is here joining us as well. He just got done scarfing down a salad rapidly just to be here with us. So how are you, bud?
I'm not done. I will be eating on mic for the rest of this show. So
Hey,
I hope you're listening to this on your headphones.
Listen, there are some huge TikTok accounts right now where all people do is eat with a microphone.
Can I tell you something, dude?
That ASMR, whatever. I don't understand it.
Nick,
but
you want to fire me? You want to get me to kill somebody?
Yeah.
Yes.
Put that person in front of me and then in my ear do that.
Yeah.
Dude,
with the gulping water, like you can hear the gut, like that just turns my I don't know why.
Dude, there is a small Asian gal. She makes, I think, $2 to $3 million a year. And the only thing this lady does is have lunch or dinner with someone over a video camera. That's it. And I'm like, how do you eat so much? You're so small. And that definitely affects her self-worth, right?
Yeah. So
which is insane.
We didn't resolve this. I think
we didn't.
Gene said that he was the smartest of the three of us when it came to vocabulary.
Oh, please.
But we had quite a heated debate before the show whether this title was how does your income affect your self-worth versus how does your income affect your self-worth. So if you are smarter than the three of us, please post in the comments if it's B or A, because we don't know.
And by the way, that bar isn't super high.
No, certainly not. But we're about to test the audience, and we'll see, because we're the fearless leaders of these people, right?
We lead because you know what, we care, and we want to make sure that what's affecting us in our personal lives can then be disseminated to the folks that listen to our voices, watch our faces, and maybe they take one nugget away from something. So we're not smarter. We're just going through the same fucking bullshit that everybody else is going through. Yeah. So let's talk about effect and affect. That's not how I meant that. Okay. Yeah. Affect.
Can I start?
No, well, I have to clarify first. Adam says that my beard game is strong.
It is.
Adam's quickly losing bonus points with me. I can tell you that much.
Oh, you're just jealous now. Okay, so Nick, jump in on or Gene. I think Gene wanted to jump in.
Tell me what's the right one here. The Eagles Super Bowl preview at the NFC Championship game, which I was at, affected the way that I woke up and worked this week. Discuss.
Oh, all right.
Let me see if I can. Let me capture out the most important parts of that sentence. It's not the affect or effect.
It's that you were at the title
Eagles.
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't even care about that so much. It's that the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, bragger.
Adam said
Bengals. Yeah, dude. If I was a Bengals fan, I wouldn't have gone to work at all this week. I think I would have just shut it down.
That would have been a tough one for sure.
Yeah.
Dude, try being a 49er fan and watching your ass get handed to you and that you
didn't have a chance.
Dick kicked in.
Fourth string quarterback. You knew in the second quarter you were done. There's no way.
I turned to my buddy and was next to me in the seat, and I went, "This game's over.
It's over."
Oh, it was over before it started.
Yeah.
So let's dive into this real fast. This really fast in regards to effect and affect. What does that really mean? Now we can go over ideas and hypothesis of what we think the words mean, and everyone's gonna have a different thought pattern around that. But when it comes to really your income, where does that start? Does that start mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually? What really is going to be that catalyst, that driver, that engine that's going to make you push through all the bullshit that you get on a daily basis. So stop watching national news, local news, and everything else. Get that pollutant out of your brain. But where do you start, guys? Nick, I'm going to go to you first because I know Gene's going to pipe in like a fucking like jalapeno and pop off on us. So Nick, where would you go with that?
So I'll go here. So I did a thought exercise on my TikTok not too long ago, this past week. And the idea was I want you to think about 3 goals that you have for 2023. Like, what are your top 3 priorities? So for me, it was health and wellness is a huge priority for me and myself for 2023, right? I'm striving to lose another 100 pounds. My relationship with my kids and or time with my family is a huge component of 2023. I'm always looking to spend more time with my kids. And then bucket number 3 was my software business, gaining another 100 clients, paying clients inside that business. So when you have whatever 3 buckets that are in your mind right now, and we're February 1, so we're on like V2 of New Year's resolutions, right? Today's the day. So if you had these goals in January 1, we can now reset, make sure that we're keeping these same goals. But think about those 3 things that you had in your mind, and then think about what you do on a daily basis. So are all the activities that you're doing on a daily basis going with those 3 goals or against those goals? And if they're going against or have nothing to do with those goals, then you need to reevaluate. So what that means right now is, and the reason why we're bringing up like all of this right now, kind of V2 of New Year's resolution, is some people are having a really hard time right now as far as income dropping. So we ended out 2022 on a bang. A lot of people still having a really good business, a lot of income still coming in, all of a sudden screeching to a halt. And so what does that mean for you personally? Are you taking that into, and what I find when I talk to people is their net worth or their income is a direct reflection of how they feel inside as far as self-worth. And so what we need to do is detach those 2 things, because if you are doing nothing but making yourself feel good by how much money you make or making yourself feel bad by how little money you make, you're never going to move forward into those 3 buckets for whatever you defined. So I challenge everybody right now, and even if you're doing really good, you can still self-evaluate and see, how is this affecting you? Do you feel like you're on top of a mountain just because you're making a few shekels? And are you starting to get a little bit of an ego? Are you not doing the things that you should be doing or doubling down on things because you have that ego? So there's a lot going into this self-worth that if you can control that, because the only thing we can control is what our thoughts are in our mind. Right?
Yep.
Everything else is ancillary. So if you can control the thoughts in your mind, and no matter what your bank account says, you know what your 3 goals are for the year, and are your thoughts and your actions developing and making those goals stronger so that you can have the outcome that you want, income aside.
So let's talk about it a little bit. Let's go over each one of us our 3 goals. I mean, do you guys have your goals written down? I got mine. Do you guys have yours?
I just said mine.
Okay. So you already did yours. Gene, do you have 3 goals for 2023?
I have more than 3 goals, but they're actually across the room.
Okay. So spitball your top 3. It doesn't matter what they are, personal, professional, whatever you want to share.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that they're the top 3, but I'll give you 3 that I'm thinking of. We're trying to get to Italy this year. That's a goal.
That's great.
Yeah, it's a good one. My oldest is this is kind of going to be a flimsy goal in its practice and the way I'm going to gauge it. It's not really a goal for the most part, I guess. But my oldest is going through her senior year in high school, and she's looking at colleges. And
she's a senior in high school.
Yeah, she's a senior in high school.
Oh my gosh.
I know, it's crazy. And one of the goals is, we've been having nightly conversations about all of it. And I'm coming to realize, I came to realize super quick how stressful this was for her. And so my job right now, my goal is to get her to help her make a decision on where she's going with the least amount of stress possible. So that's the long one. So I don't know that I'll ever be able to gauge that. I might be able to find that out 20 years from now when she's, she has kids and she's like, Dad, you were really an asshole, or you really helped me, like, whatever. But but we'll talk about that. And then the third one is I have some income goals and some goals as far as the business goes. It's not really something that I would put out there publicly, but I have a couple marks that I'd like to hit. And yeah. So there's 3. They're probably not the most important ones, let's say. We need to get our bathroom redone. I got to redo my bedroom. So there's a lot of things going on, right? So I got a lot of different things, but those are a couple of them.
I love them. I love where you're coming from because it's authentically you, right? We're talking about your daughter. We're talking about your bathroom. We're talking about stuff that people really don't want to talk about. And I think that really affects people when it comes to their income. A lot of folks are going to see and are seeing potentially a downturn in their income in 2023 because of a lot of different aspects in the world that we have no control over.
Yeah.
The government, your federal, local, your board, your local, market areas, the whole 9 yards. So when you don't get the deals, there's an individual that I work with on a consistent basis, and I won't use their name, but I was talking to them the other day, and they were saying the fact, like, dude, like, I gotta get a fucking deal, man. Like, I gotta get a fucking deal. I haven't sold a home in X amount of months. And I'm like, dude, you've got a humongous voice. Like, what are you talking about? And visibility play, he's like, dude, I just can't get it. And I'm like, okay, so if you're sharing that with me, right? And again, this individual will not be named, but when they were sharing that with me, I was like, okay, so here's my issues as well, right? And so he and I started talking about it, and we're both just like, what in the blank? Like, what changed? And a lot of the times it affects you incredibly mentally about your income. If you're not making set amount of dollars in set amount of time, then you're a loser.
Yeah.
And a story in your mind. But in reality, are you really? Are you really? Or are you just making that shit up and telling yourself a story?
Yeah. The stories that you tell yourself are powerful. And so here's an analogy, and this is why I love baseball. Because you can hit the ball 3 times out of 10 and be in the Hall of Fame. Right? Baseball and hitting a round ball with a round bat is the hardest thing you can do in professional sports. Right? And yet, if you strike out 4 times in one game, you're not going to sit on the bench the next game or tell your coach, hey, I'm not going to go in today. I just don't feel I don't feel good. I don't feel like I can hit the ball anymore. Right? No, that doesn't happen. But if you go on 4 listing appointments, or you don't even have leads to go on a listing appointment, your self-worth is in the basement because you feel like you're not capable of doing it.
And you're also watching the other agents around you who you view as deficient to what your standards are, getting listing appointments. Then you second guess yourself and going, what the fuck am I doing wrong? How am I messing this up? Like, what am I not saying? What am I not doing? And you're running around like a blind man in a dark room trying to find the fucking exit. And you're going like, God damn it, I'm fucked. And I cut you off. So I'm going to shut the fuck up.
I was going to say, let me try to tie this back. So in baseball, whenever I was going into a slump or felt like I was in a slump, I would change my routine. Right. And so whatever that means to you, if you take a reflection, take a look back, and I want you to go back and write down everything that you did yesterday. Right. And then think about, is that moving again, going back to these 3 buckets? Sometimes you just need to change your routine or change your perspective of things that are going on. So if you, like for me in baseball, I might go buy a new pair of batting gloves, right? I might wear a different undershirt. Like I'll change something about my routine. I might, instead of hitting 30 minutes before the game, I might hit 5 minutes before the game. Something about my normal routine I would change. I want you to look at what your routine is right now. And if you feel like you're stuck, change that routine, whatever you do on a daily basis. If you are doing some sort of lead generation, maybe instead of doing it at your house, change the location of where you're doing lead generation, and book an appointment at one of the nicest fucking houses in your neighborhood as if you were previewing it for clients that are out of state, and get dressed in your best fucking suit or your best dress and go out in the world and change your routine and not walk around your house moping around, right? So something's got to change. And it could be something as simple as that, right? Get out of the environment that you're in. And also to look at the people that you're talking to, because that's a huge one.
Yeah. You got to hang out with people who are way wealthier than you are. I was having a conversation with an individual yesterday, and this individual is extremely young. Um, and they're at a point in their life, and this individual put together a potential deal where they could and may make $100 million on one deal. And I'm like, dude, like, that's an insane thing to say. Like $100 million at that age. We're talking under 30, by the way. And they're like, yeah, I don't know what to do with myself. I'm like, you need to go out there and help other folks see the value that they have, because you've obviously brought a lot of value to the circumstances that you're putting into the world. Um, you know, it's interesting to see people's mindsets. It's been a long time since I was single. Been about 5-6 years at this point, and I love my girlfriend. She's phenomenal. She kicks me squarely in the taint on a daily basis. Nick and I have talked about this. Gene and I have talked about this. And the funny thing is that right now, she built me a spreadsheet to look at my expenses. I've never looked at them. They're horrifying. Guess what? I don't use that as a negative power, right? I use that to affect my mindset so that I can push myself to the next level without even blinking. Because I look at it, I'm like, holy shit, that's really what the numbers look like? Okay, here we go. And I'm ready to kick it off to the next level. So, Gene, if someone was in a mindset where they didn't have 3 goals, which thank you for never asking me what my 3 goals are. I really appreciate you guys on that one. Where would you start with marketing for someone who's going, okay, I hear you guys' voices, but I need to really kick it into gear right now. I have $150 a month to spend on marketing. Where would I spend it? Gene, start with you, then to you, Nick.
I wouldn't spend it on marketing. If you don't have your goals right now, I wouldn't spend that on marketing at all. I would spend that on a gym membership. That's what I would do.
Nice.
What's
Okay.
that?
I said nice.
I
like
would.
that. Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of things at play here, right? So I don't know where to start, but we're talking about a lot of negative energy being put out into the world. When you're in a space where you're going, I only have $150 for marketing. I own, the universe. Here's what it wants to, right? And I don't care if you call it hocus pocus. I don't care what you think of me when I tell you this. When I got up, I'm surprised you didn't say anything, but I got up while you were talking and I went over to my library and grabbed this book, right? And the book I'm holding
Great
up,
book.
if you're listening, is The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. I hate the video. I can't watch the video. It makes me crazy. I can read 10 pages of the book every day. And I can tell you from personal experience and the experience of a lot of people that I know and have done business with and that are super, super successful, and some that are successful in a way that is successful only to them, right? Like they don't make $8 million, but they're the happiest people on the planet because they get to spend all their time with their kids. Depends on what your level of happy is. But if you don't believe that putting negative shit out in the world, sorry. So Adam says he hates it. There are a lot of people that don't like it. I get it, right? So we can get into it. But here's what
we can get into it. Yeah.
I'm down for that.
I think we should get into it. But here's my thing. Maybe it's not so much the book as much it is as you're going to focus on, like, think about cars, right? We talk about this a million times. You go out and buy a brand new silver Acura. What do you see on the road? That's all you see.
Silver Acuras.
You may have never seen them before, right? It's because that's where your focus is now, right? So where's your focus? Is your focus on, my business sucks, I'm down 13%? Or is your business on doing the small daily activities that get you back to where you need to be? Here's the thing. Sometimes there's extenuating circumstances outside of your control that are going to affect your income. E or A affect whichever one you want. I don't care. Here's the difference.
We still haven't had anybody comment on which one.
Yeah, I'm surprised actually myself. Yeah, I see Antonio Stella's on here. I see Gail is on here.
Gail, she is on here. Hi, Gail.
Gail's on here. There's some of our greatest people are on here. Adam, I don't know. Adam is disagreeing with me a lot today. Me and him might have to have a superpower coffee hour talk in a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, you got to start with using the little things. If you're sitting around talking about, I only have $150 in marketing, or my income's down 96%, you're focusing on all this stuff, right? if you want to get ahead, it's like I call it the sucking your thumb theory. When you're down on yourself, you have two options. You can crawl under your covers and suck your thumb like a little bitch, or you can give yourself enough time to regroup. And sometimes for me, that's taking a walk around my cul-de-sac for an hour and smoking a cigar. Sometimes it's a couple beers. Sometimes it is sitting and having dinner with my wife just to unplug. Sometimes it's going to the gym. But I know that I'm giving myself 5 minutes to be a little bitch about it. And then I just got to focus, right? Like people say to me all the time, that's how did you deal with your dad dying when you were 19? I go, what option did I have? You could deal with it or shut it down. I only had one option, right? So this secret book, whether you believe in the book or not, is more about affirmations and focusing your energy on the positive stuff, not the negative stuff. I'm speaking from a space where I'm always in the positive. My wife calls me delusional. I totally get that. And I know that that's not possible for a lot of people. People suffer with anxiety and depression. I totally get this shit. This is not going to work all the time. But if you refocus your attention to the positive energy, you're going to get better results all the time. That's it.
You know how
Dude, I
many
couldn't agree with
times?
you more.
Oh, sorry, Greg.
No, after you, my friend.
I was going to say, do you know how many times I've been also told by my wife that I live in a different world?
100%.
What world do you live in? It's not reality.
Yeah,
Listen,
that sounds like
it's
a
not
wife.
in the world.
I choose what affects me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And look, and when you can't, it's so interesting. I went to this thing last night. My daughter invited me to this thing last night. It's called Speak Up. And they bring these. It's a great, it was really cool. It's an event where they bring these kids. It was 4 separate high schools come into one gym, and then they separate you into rooms. There's half adults, half parents. It's a no judgment zone. You're not with your own family. They make sure you're not with your people. You only use first names, which I didn't because I don't give a shit, right? You can repeat anything I said. It doesn't matter to me. But they put you in this thing and they talk about things that are going on in society. So my room was addiction and beyond or something, but 98% of the talk was around social media, the addiction to social media and how it affects you. And we got into anxiety. And I said, how many people suffer from anxiety? And just about everybody in the room was like, I do. And I was like, I do too. I'm lucky enough where I don't suffer from it, but I am able to recognize it. And I know the pain points that I have to hit to get rid of it. Right. So I feel like when people see that, they go, this dude's always in a good mood. He's full of shit. No. I'm not always in a good mood. I'm pretty good at putting that away and tucking it until I'm able to get myself out of it. But my face in the world is that I'm having a good day. I'm blessed. I'm here, right? I'm 47. My dad died at 44, bro. Like when people say, how do you feel when you turn 45? I was like, fucking amazing. I outlived my father. Like, not that it was a contest, but I wanted to get out of 44, right?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So like I focus on all the good stuff most of the time, right? I think it's just a matter of how you get yourself into a space every morning. There's a reason why all the successful people jump in a bath. That cold bath at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
There's a reason. There's the cold plunge, right? There's a reason why these guys and girls are working out for 2 hours at 8:15 because it does shit to your body where it makes you focus on the positive energy, not the negative.
Yeah. Doing something that's incredibly well, I'm just thinking about your comments, and taking it to heart because how do I verbalize this into the universe? I refuse to put negative energy into the universe. So, like, if something's going to shit my life, I'll cocoon, and I will just kind of work it through in my mind. But I will never say it into the universe, going like, "Well, I'm having a shitty day," or "This person's a fucking dipshit," or "Yada yada yakada schmack," or "I deserve this." Whatever. I go the opposite, 180 degrees, and I say, "You know what? Today's a beautiful day. I'm alive. I got sunshine and blue skies. I got palm trees. A goose took a shit on my fucking window. Fly by shitting.
A goose?
Oh yeah, they're fucking humongous here. But yeah, they sound like a human
every day. Yeah.
It sounds like a human landing on your roof. But a goose took a shit on my window. So and I just cleaned that damn window. So am I upset about it? No. I'm gonna just deal with it and move on in life. It's not the end of the world. Clients are being Yahoo monkey butts. Okay, fine. Deal with it. And I said, just say, you know what? I'm blessed to have the opportunity to say no to that option of working with that human being. That puts the power back in my life versus it defining my self-worth. Because you know what, at the end of the day, I can't work with everybody. Neither can you, Gene. Neither can you, Nick. Neither can anybody who's hearing my voice right now. It's your perception of reality that defines who you are and where you're going to go mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. It's just saying, fuck, there's some shit going on, but am I going to say it's negative or positive? Like, my grandparents are selling their ranch. It's our family ranch. It's been in my life literally since I was born in 1978. My parents are renting their house out in Alamo. It's our family home to another family. They're going to live in it for another year, probably going to buy it. We're going to lose that house too. My uncles won't speak to my mom anymore over inheritance money. And so all these shifting things that are going on, I've taken a minute and I've been bitter. Do not get me wrong on that one.
You're allowed.
But then I shifted and I said, you know what? It's life. It's a fluid activity that you're going to experience. So why not put a smile on, not a frown on, when you go through these different trials and tribulations and say, you know what? This is happening to me, not for, well, it's happening for me, not to me, when in regards to life. You can be sad, you can be grumpy, you can be excited, you can be exhilarated, but that's your choice to experience that emotion. So let's talk about real estate and lead generation and your business when it comes to those experiences.
Before we go there, can I address a couple things real quick?
I hope you do.
I want to be clear about a couple things, because Adam House who's watching us as a listener is firing off some comments. And so I feel like some of these, what I say sometimes because of the way I speak, they get lost in translation every once in a blue moon, right? So a couple things. I am not calling anybody out that has a difficult time, and I'm not calling anybody out. And this is not what Adam was saying, by the way. And I'm not calling anybody out that has issues and it takes them a lot longer to regroup and get that. Again, I know that there are things going on in people's lives. I have no idea what's happening. And I'm not saying if this isn't what you're doing it wrong, right? This is what's worked for me over time, right? And
that makes sense.
And one of the things that Adam said in here is that there's a difference between being apathetic and the universe bringing things you want. And also, he says he hates that book. Wait, let me see something real quick, because there was another one in here. These lessons that you're talking about now are not what the book The Secret is saying, though. So while I agree with both of those things, I want to be clear on if you have something. Let me first define the universe. I don't think that there's this magic shit happening where you go like this. Hey, I want a check for $3,000 to show up in my inbox.
No,
and you go
that's
out.
not real.
You go out to your mailbox and you go, oh my God, look, there's a $3,000 check. That's amazing. And the universe is not saying, The Secret is not saying, go sit on the couch and manifest stuff. It'll happen. That's not what it is. Like, we used to talk about this in our trainings all the time. I would go, it's basically showing you to focus on what you want. That's kind of the gist of it. You have to work your bag off in that direction to get what it is that you want, right? But here's what I can tell you. When I say the universe, I'm using quotes, right? I'm just quoting what the book says. If you're not focused, let me say this. If you're focused on $1 million salary next year, you might get it, right? You might. You got to work your ass off to get it. But if you don't focus on $1 million salary, you ain't getting it. So, huh?
You ain't. Yeah.
You ain't. So you can focus on not getting it, or you can focus on getting it. And if I said to you, you ain't getting it because you're only going to make $650, most people would be pretty happy with that, right? And I'm of course making up numbers, but I mean, I'm not going read the book and then let science take over, let the universe take over. That's not what I'm talking about at all. I'm talking about taking your focus and focusing on your 3 goals. And of course, he's killing me. I hope there's nothing wrong.
The universe is calling right now.
FaceTiming me. Yeah. I got to text him, let him know I'm taping. Which he does know, but yeah. So that's kind of what I'm getting at. I mean, we can dissect that a little further, but I wanted to make sure I'm clear that I'm not like, hey, if you suffer from anxiety and depression, you're an asshole, and I'm not. Oh, and by the way, all you got to do is focus, and the universe is going to give you gifts. That's not quite what I meant, but just I want to be real clear. The universe,
No, I-
the universe was calling.
Yeah.
The universe is what was calling you.
That was the
She's
universe.
she's just like, shut up, bitch.
That's funny.
Fuck off.
That's hilarious.
But it is very true. I mean, everything I've wanted in life and I've strived for, when I really set my mind to it, guess what? I worked towards it. It was my sole focus, and so my self-worth became something that I put into a bucket of something that I was trying to achieve. If I didn't achieve it, okay, I didn't achieve it. But if I did achieve it, then okay, I did achieve it. I know that sounds very fly by night, kind of hokey pokey kind of bullshit. But you know what? In reality, if all of us that are in relationships right now with a male or a female or whatever your flavor is, and you went out there and said, I'm looking for said type of person to be my partner, right? And then that person is attracted to you because you're looking for that specific entity out in the universe, aka the world. And in reality, it's astonishing. I mean, I'm driving my dream car right now. After driving my other dream car, I'm dating an incredibly intelligent, woman who kicks me in the twat every fucking day. But you know what? The good thing is the fact that I have a strong human being that has my back, and I know she does. And because I looked for specific characteristics of a human being. Who's the guy who used to run Success Magazine? Darren Hardy.
Darren Hardy, yeah.
Darren Hardy wrote out 6 pages of exactly what he wanted in a woman. Then he wrote out 6 pages of what he needed to be to attract said woman. He and his wife have been married, God knows, I don't know how long at this point, but they have a sit-down meeting, and there's a point here. They have a sit-down meeting every single Sunday. I hope they still do it because that's in his books. And they talk about what I did wrong, what I did right this week. And it keeps them both on track for each other. So when's the last time, Gene and Nick, that you guys had a sit-down meeting with yourself about what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, and what you could do to increase your net worth and your self-worth? I mean, Gene, I don't want to get too personal, but Nick, I want to ask you first person because Gene was just talking.
Yeah.
What's one thing you would change in your life? Just one thing to get to a different self-worth level.
That is a really tough question because I really try to compartmentalize the self-worth part. It doesn't matter what's going on around me. I'd really try to have it not affect my self-worth. So, maybe if I could cut off some relationships that I know aren't lifting me up as much as I would like them to. So in that aspect of my own personality, I'm more of a nice guy to not cut ties or cut terms and or say exactly how I feel and get strung along for a little bit too long. So I would say the ability to be more forward when it comes to those relationships.
Okay, so be more forward in asking hard questions is what you're saying.
Yeah,
right?
probably.
Okay. Gene, what would be yours?
For me, it's easy and it always remains the same. My diet and my food intake, my diet, and my physical fitness.
Well, I'm already doing that. That's what I'm saying. Like, so there's not like that's always a constant goal for me, right?
No, I know, but you're saying like what would be the one thing I would change today about myself?
Yeah.
Right. That's what I would have to change. I mean, cut my alcohol intake down to 0. Eat healthy, which you guys just saw I was jamming a salad down my throat, and just be super consistent at the gym, which I'm not, or super consistent actively. When I am those 3 things, nothing stops me. It doesn't even bother me.
I love it.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, guys, I'm so glad you asked again. Like, what would my one thing be?
Well, we want to hear your 3 goals first.
Yeah, what are you doing?
By the
All right,
way,
my 3 goals.
I absolutely love when you say yakety schmack. So I think we need to We need to pepper that into every episode.
Oh,
in
see,
some
I
fashion.
wanted to say, I think it's amazing when you say taint and twat, but
Yeah.
that's just me.
Or that a fucking pterodactyl goose shits on your window,
on his roof.
on his roof.
On my
it's
roof.
That's
It's
a
very rough.
Philly-
It's a roof.
Yeah.
Yes.
Phillyism.
3 goals. Okay, so I want to put 40 people. Okay, let me rephrase my verbiage here. And this is what when I really want to come down to. What you say is power, right?
Yes, sir.
So it's not like I had a coach and a trainer. His name was Bill, and I was talking about something mentally I was gonna try to do, and he said, "Okay, Greg, I want you to try to stand up right now." And I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" He's like, "Try to stand up," and I'm like, "All right," because I was on video cam. So I stood up. He's like, "Okay, so did you stand up or did you try to stand up?" I'm like, "Oh, dang. Okay, I see where we're going with that." So my verbiage on this, it's not I'm going to try, it's what I'm going to do. And so ladies and gentlemen, everybody's listening to my voice, watching my face right now. You're not going to try to do your goals. You're going to do them. Speak power into your goals. Your self-worth will grow after that because you have power behind it. So I'm going to put 40 people on my EXP first line. I'm going to do 36 deals this year, in selling real estate. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to different local news channels and different radio stations, and I'm going to get back on radio. When I really thought about being on radio, that's all I thought about was being on radio, being on radio, being on radio. Now, why is that important? It's not, but it was something important to me. And so I put the energy behind it. I found a business partner. We put a company together and we went on air for over a year. And, it was a phenomenal experience. Got to meet incredible people, but I put intention behind thought. So now I intended to do it. My thoughts were there. Then I took action behind it. And those are the reasons why I got to achieve them. So whatever your goals are, I don't care if you just want to spend more time with your kids, if you want to go swim in the pool more often, if you want to, become a rock climber, if you want to be a top real estate producer, if you want to be an investor, it doesn't matter. I don't give a flying fuck what you want to do. I'm going to support you no matter what, because it's your goal, your dream, your intention, your success story that you're going to write for yourself and for your future kids and your future grandkids. So just enjoy the journey, enjoy the travel. I mean, it's going to be bumpy. It's going to be weird. The roads are not always going to be fun. It's not going to be something that you're really going to want to talk about all the time. But at the exact same time, you're doing something that your competition isn't fucking doing. So get the fuck out there and start putting rubber to road and doing things that your competition will never even attempt to do because they're too intimidated to do it. And you can do it starting today, right now, whenever you're hearing my voice. Get out there, make it happen, stop pretending, and just go for it. What the fuck else are you going to do? I mean, you're going to lose today. You're going to have tomorrow, maybe. We don't know. Nothing's guaranteed, but at least you can fucking try. Good fucking Lord. And I'm saying fuck a lot. So I'm going to stop doing that.
Is this where this is like slow clap? We should stand up. That was good.
Well,
that was
thank you,
good.
my friend.
Actually, you know what? I will say, I do care what you do. Stay out of fucking spelunking and cave diving or whatever these people are doing on TikTok now,
spelunking.
where they're getting trapped in caves because they're trying to crawl through a 10-inch hole. You have better things to do with your time. Please don't do that. Do anything else. Go skydiving. That seems fine to me. But
by the way,
don't
I'm a
crawl in
licensed
a hole and then record it so that I have anxiety watching your video.
It gives me anxiety too, bro. It's so bad.
The biggest.
Dude, you guys know I'm a licensed skydiver, right?
Yeah, that doesn't bother me.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
Wait till you're 3 miles up and they open that glass window or the plastic window and the cold air hits you like a fucking slap in the face. And then you're looking down and you're like, oh, what kind of life choices did I just make? And then you have 2 instructors on both sides of you and they push you out of the fucking door and you hear this thump, and that's your body leaving the door. and all of a sudden you're falling at free fall at 120 plus miles an hour, and it is the most glorious, liberating, insanely fun, terrifying thing you've ever experienced in your entire life. It's the best drugs, the best sex, the best money you've ever made. And
I'm flabbergasted right now.
dude, and there's a thing called tracking. So it's when you tilt your body downward and you put your arms behind you, you literally fly.
Wait a minute. So here's why I'm flabbergasted. I got to cut you off. I can't even listen to this shit anymore. How long have I known you?
Long time.
And I didn't know that you were a fucking, first of all, that you've ever gone skydiving in your life. Second of all, that you're an actual instructor. And third of all, why aren't we using that for marketing for your fucking business in 2023? That if you list your house and sell your house with Greg McDaniel, we will jump out of a plane together.
Dude,
you want to talk about a super hyper niche market, and affluent people who have millions of dollars like to test themselves and do things differently. You could sell 36 houses just a year by being the skydiving fucking real estate agent.
Oh, by the way, I'm also a licensed kiteboarder and a scuba diver. So yeah, I'm underwater and above air.
Well,
so
forget Scuba Steve. That's not as cool as jumping out of a plane. Do you have any video of yourself jumping out of a plane?
It's an intense experience. I'm not gonna lie. It is an amazing thing. And that's what I kind of want to talk about when it comes to self-worth. When you're falling through the air at 120 miles an hour, like you're saying, right? Your self-worth is what? A parachute? That is literally your self-worth right now, because if that shit don't fucking open, you're going kasplat. And I actually, one of my first solo jumps I ever did, there was a tandem that was jumping next to us and their main chute failed. And I'm like, oh fuck, that shit sucks. And the guy just cut away his main chute, went to his secondary chute, and bing, they were just right as rain. And I'm like, oh, that's not too bad. And so it correlates back into this, is the fact that when it comes to your net worth, your self-worth, and everything else, when you look at other people that are floating through the sky, that are safe, right? And you feel like you're falling, you have nothing to do or nothing to give, cut the main chute, find your secondary chute, deploy it, and then float just like everybody else and have fun, knowing the fact that you bring value, that you're there. You did something they couldn't do or didn't do, and on a completely different mental level. And I don't want
so much marketing material here. It's crazy. It's so crazy. There's so much marketing material. Why aren't we using this for your real estate business, bro? Like,
oh, we're gonna do it.
Everybody thinks all you do is leave dog balls at the fucking dog park with your phone number on it to get listings. That's all we talk about. I know you're jumping out of planes like a fucking madman. That's savage.
Dude, I'm
starting to think about how you could have a camera and do a video tour of the person's property.
Actually, you can't have a camera and you can't wear a helmet until you get about 200 jumps under your belt, because it's literally like wearing a bowling ball on your head. So
can't put it on your chest.
Nah, you can't strap it on anywhere. You have to keep yourself neutral, because when you're up there and you're floating, you have to keep yourself very spread out, and any additional weight anywhere will deviate from your landing on a correct area. But I mean, that's a whole different story.
It's a whole different story. But your boy Adam, he says, you're telling me to sell more houses, I got to jump out of planes. That's exactly. If you remember nothing else from this episode, remember that you're not going to be a successful agent unless you start fucking skydiving. That's it.
And talking to the universe randomly.
Yeah.
Yes. And by the way, jumping out of an airplane by yourself is exhilarating but terrifying at the exact same time, to the point where, like, why did I decide to do this? This is fucking stupid. This is, I don't want to do this again. But then when your feet touch the ground, and ladies and gentlemen, if you ever go skydiving, write me, tell me, text me, call me, because once your feet touch the ground, your first reaction is, let's go up again. Let's do it again. Let's do it again.
Dude, I think everybody who joins Greg McDaniel's EXP team gets to go skydiving with Greg McDaniel once a year.
I'm in like a kid on a
fucking event.
Dude, I'm down, man. I'll go to my place in Gilroy. Let's go. But that's the whole thing. business is like is skydiving. It's terrifying because you don't know if you're going to make it or not. You really don't. What if the guy got drunk the night before and didn't pack a chute right? What if the marketing material wasn't spelled right? What if, fill in the blank isn't right, and you sit there and you're paranoid about it, but then you never take any action because you're terrified of the outcome? Fuck that shit. Just jump. Just do it. Your self-worth will grow exponentially. If you have never made a cold call, I've made almost 700,000 cold calls myself, over 300,000 door knocks. I was always terrified. The hardest door to ever get to was my car door. And when I opened my car door and shut it, then I was set free. When I put on my dialer and I started dialing, I was free. And I started walking through life. Guys, your self-worth is so much more than you can possibly imagine, but you don't take advantage of it because you're afraid of the potential failure, not the outcome that's going to be a success. You never see the success, you only see the failure.
Crazy, bro. The thumbnail
is
for this YouTube video is going to be you skydiving, by the way. You know that, right?
Oh, dude, I'll send you some more videos.
I'm going.
I still have them.
That's going to be. And so let me piggyback off that. So if you guys haven't noticed, we've cleaned up the YouTube channel quite a bit. So if you're listening to us live on Facebook or YouTube or inside the group or wherever, we're streaming in a bunch of different locations. We're putting a lot more effort to make a lot more content for the YouTube channel this year. So you've noticed that we haven't gone live on Fridays. We're actually recording those episodes now to be a little bit harder hitting and a little bit more concise for you. So we're live every Wednesday here like we normally do. But go to the YouTube channel on Fridays is when we release the actual recorded episode that's a little bit more refined than what we do here. So we're going to continue doing a weekly show live because we like interacting with you guys, but then also a pre-recorded, a little faster paced show on the YouTube channel. Make sure you go subscribe there if you haven't.
And do it now. Give us a 5-star review, guys. We appreciate every single one of you. Let's wrap this up. Gene, give us some final thoughts, brother man.
I don't know if you want to kind of debate me or talk about mindset and mentality, and that goes for you too, Adam. I don't mean that in a negative way. I enjoy this stuff. My thought process isn't for everybody. I get that. I think sometimes 9 times out of 10, it's not for my wife. But we still get along, right? So, but I do know this. I have a positive outlook on things, and I certainly can help people in a lot of cases with their thought process and the way they work. And one thing I don't know if I went down this path, but I was saying at that Speak Up event we did last night, I got a chance to listen and talk to about 15 parents and 15 juniors and seniors. And one of the seniors there was wide open about anxiety, ADHD, and struggling with schoolwork and time blocking. And it wasn't, what he said was, I give this kid so much credit, I can't even tell you. What he said was, it's not really a problem right now because I succeed, but I'm worried that when I get to college without any oversight, it's going to get worse and worse. And I said to him, it's not too early to start working on your problem, right? Like you already have identified something that you think is going to hold you back. And my suggestion would be to start working on it now. And the second suggestion would be this. It doesn't have to be massive strokes. Just change one habit. Change one 10-minute span during the day. Start on that. Work on it. Recreate multiple habits and better habits moving forward. And in a month's time, you're going to be way better than you were today. So I think a lot of times people always think like all these things, like even with social media, Nick, you know this. When we talk to people about social media, they're like, what do I need to do? Get a Facebook channel, get a YouTube channel, hook them up to Hootsuite, fire off things, create content, do a video. Now TikTok, 9x6. And people are like, fuck, I'm not going to do any of that shit. How about just starting today, open a Twitter account, learn Twitter a little bit, right? Like these things don't have to be massive overhauls right now. They just need to be little steps towards the proper habit, directed in the direction of what you were asking. Yes, I'm saying it, Adam, the universe that you wanted. Okay. So that's it. Small changes here to start for the next 30 days. Focus on it. See how you feel after the 30 days is up.
You know what?
Nice.
One of my coaches actually always told me that it's not home runs that win the game. It's base hits.
Singles.
Hit those singles consistently. You'll win the game. I know it sounds trite, but it's real. I mean, grand slams, Babe Ruth, greatest baseball hitter on earth, also the greatest strikeout king on earth. But guess what? He swung for the fences. And you don't have to do that. You can just go like, hey, I'm going to bunt this. I'm going to do a small little tap and get it over second base, get to first base, and then be able to do a running game. In your life, figure out what makes sense for you, but just don't stop, ladies and gentlemen. So many people stop. So many
people
stop.
relying on you.
Dude, you even if it's you and your goldfish, the goldfish needs food. Okay.
Yep.
You know, your kitty cat needs pets, your dog needs walks, your kids need clothes, your spouse needs love, you know, and you know, something that's exciting in their lives. So it's not about you, it's about your environment. So go out there, figure out your first 3 goals for 2023. Number 1. Take action on them. Don't have what I call shelf assurance. Shelf assurance is when you put it on the you make your goals and you put it on the shelf because you feel good about making those goals, but you never take any action on them. That is killing your goals. When you die, I guarantee you this. When you die, your goals, your dreams are going to stand next to you. And they're going to say, we could have been something great, but you never did anything about it. And we blame you for us not coming true. Take action today. Don't apologize. Have fun and just enjoy life and build your self-worth. Nick, final words.
I can't end it. You stole this show, bro. It's all yours, Coach. Coach McDaniel is in the house, and if you want more of that, you got to join his EXP team because
you do.
There's a lot more of that behind the scenes.
All right, gentlemen, let's do this. Let's end on a fun note. Let's talk about colors on the bow for the show. Nick, give me a color for the bow on the show.
Man, you know what? So today, Mr. Tom Brady decided to retire officially, his second retirement.
Yeah, we'll see.
Officially retired. So I'm going to go with the Buccaneers red as a homage to Mr. Tom Brady spending his final few years in Tampa Bay.
All right, Bucks red. Gene, what's your thoughts on this? What's your color on the bow on the show?
I'm going to go Eagles green until the Eagles are done.
Yep. So Eagles green?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see how this goes. You guys are both football fanatics. I love it.
And Adam wants to join your EXP team, Greg. Tell him where you can reach you. What's your phone number?
Adam, I want you to text me or call me. I pick up the phone all the time. I actually do pay my bills. It's right here in this charging. Call me at area code 925-915-1978. Again, the number is area code 925-915-1978. Adam, I look forward to talking to you if you ever have the time. But we're going to put a Buccaneers red and an Eagles green bow on the show, guys. Thank you. I really have to say this every single time, and I don't have to. I want to and I need to because I'm so thankful for every single one of you guys. We cannot do it without our ninjas out there who are out there just learning from any piece of knowledge you pick up from any one of us on any of our shows. Share the show, give us a 5-star review, and we just love you. And I want to bless you with an incredibly powerful day. Until next time, peace out, ninjas. We gone.